My name is Scott Meyers. My daughter is Olivia Meyers over there. I started in Los Angeles in 1995 as an extra on a couple movies like Apollo 13 and television shows called like Beverly Hills 90210. And from there I worked my way up from an extra. It was just one of the non-speaking roles in television and movies. Started working on such movies as Spy Kids. I worked on, let's see, let me gotta look at this because it's been a while. Let's see, Secondhand Lions, worked on Frost Nixon, Spy Kids 3, Sin City. I worked my way up from a production assistant to a assistant director, which is the next step. It's the organizational side of a movie. It's not as creative as, say, directing. And on that, I worked on movies like Born Legacy, Angels and Demons. Recently worked on a television show called About a Boy, and the recently snubbed Oscar-nominated Boyhood. Worked on all those, amongst other things. And now I've been doing directing and producing, so I'm just constantly working my way up in the entertainment industry. And have been doing so for 20 years. The earliest film that we still have is called Roundhay Garden Scene, which is basically a scene where people are in a garden, one shot, and just walking around the corner. That was actually the second known movie that was shot. The first one was Man Walks Around the Corner, also shot by Louis Lepierre. I'm sure you guys have seen that, right? No? No one's seen Man Walks Around the Corner? Let me just recreate it. And that was basically the movie. The movies were about 10 seconds long at that point. Up until about the early 20s, movies were minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes long, kind of what you guys are doing nowadays with your videos. Now I watch some of y'all's videos. I don't know whose I actually watched, but the videos that you guys shot were very similar to the videos that they did back in the day. A lot of you guys had, although I saw people sitting at desks with some special effects in the background, very cool, but similar. They were dealing with similar issues that y'all were dealing with. A lot of you guys had single camera shots that played in very wide shots. The sound was very rough on a lot of yours. That's probably, well, back in the early days, sound and video didn't hook up, so that's why there was early motion pictures without sound. And then later there was a creation of a strip along the side that allowed you to record video and sound, and then obviously syncing up sound. Now, up to today, where there are basically every year there's about 628,000 hours of videos uploaded to YouTube. 628,000 hours of video are uploaded every year to YouTube. So that's from our short films to now. That's kind of how we've advanced. Your age group is one of those first that are going to really be kind of trained in front of the camera, which is going to be kind of interesting to see how people act, what progresses acting. Back when I grew up, some of the first ideas of handheld really came out by MTV and music videos, and it was done because it was a faster way to shoot and more creative artistically. So people handheld the cameras. There wasn't a lot of handheld cameras before the 1980s that I noticed, and very, very little in movies. And now, like in movies that I worked on, like Born Identity or Born Legacy, the whole thing is handheld and somewhat nauseous. So when you guys are paying attention to what you're shooting, one of the smart things to do is holding your camera still, allowing the action to come in and out of the frames rather than trying to necessarily follow it, or being aware of panning. I also noticed, which was interesting as a filmmaker, that every once in a while when you guys were recreating the Civil War era stuff, you'd sneak in, there would be a car. I love that. That was my favorite. So, there's always inconsistencies in movies and such, but you guys were dealing with a lot that they were dealing with back then, you know, all these sort of problems. Sound being one of the major ones. When you guys got farther away from the camera, which the iPads had your audio in there, it was harder to hear, and all of your acting was kind of maybe a little bit lost. So when you're thinking about doing this, or when you do this again, you might want to go into closer shots, just getting closer to the camera. Just something that I noticed as you were doing it. I love Vine. Vine is great because you can take a video, you can shoot 6 seconds, but you can also make cuts in there, which I didn't notice a lot of cuts in the shows that y'all are doing. There's some going from the news reports to the field reporter and then back, but never going into like tight shots, wide shots, you know, changing angles like that. You guys are going to play a big role. Your generation is going to play a big role in what's to come in filmmaking and how it's going to evolve. If you're looking into this, try as hard as possible to stay away from reality TV. And on that note, that's kind of my pitch on your history into modern day history of film and filmmaking, what your responsibilities are going to be in the future. Film honestly, review honestly, and just know that everything that you film is going to be put on the computer and will be seen by people. So you've got to be careful when you're filming stuff nowadays to put things only that you're going to know, regardless if it's to a private sector or to a public sector. It'll be known forever. It'll be kept forever. So as you guys are starting to film yourselves, doing hopefully smart things, make sure when you're posting stuff that not to be keeping in mind that these things are for history and history to come. All right. Thank you very much, guys. You know, if when you're watching stuff, you'll be able to watch from a couple points of view if you pay attention. Listen to how the audio and the sound match up. Listen to the story and the story structure, because those sort of things never change. Story and story structure is always going to be there. And using your camera for this, recreations and entertainment is all a part of storytelling. And the most important thing about filmmaking is the storytelling and capturing that essence. All right, guys. Thank you very much. I appreciate y'all letting me talk.